Hello, good evening. It's 6 p.m. UK time, so it is time to start our online patient meeting. I am glad to be back as well. I am Caroline, your host, as always, and I hope you had a great weekend and are ready to find out some more details on genetic carrier screening in egg donation programs. And I hope you have lots of questions for our special guest today. So, well, you know what to do. But of course, before ever we start, I would like to thank to our ambassadors and partners for their constant support. Because as you know, all those Stronger Together events have been also brought to you thanks to their help, and some of them already had a chance to present various topics. So, as always, I want to thank them for their help. And as I've mentioned, today we definitely have a very interesting topic. And our special presenter is Dr. Gemma Castillon, and she is a reproductive medicine specialist at EV Clinic located in beautiful Barcelona. So thank you so much already, Gemma, for joining us. And how are you feeling today?
Hi, Caroline. Nice to hear from you again. I'm feeling good. Thank you, and it's an honor for me to be here sharing this panel with you and this amazing topic.
Excellent.
Genes, genes
Excellent.
are genes are always a challenge, and yes, I would like to. I'm pleased to be here with you for this 1 hour or whatever you need. And you already said, I'm a gynecologist. I'm a specialist in reproduction medicine, and I work in Barcelona in EV, the clinic that it's a group, it's a big group that we have clinic all around Europe and America, also and Middle East. But I'm very lucky to work in Barcelona. And I have been working in that clinic for 15 years, so I'm quite old. And I will say that we receive patients in Barcelona from all over around the world every year. And the egg donation program, of course, is one of our main programs, okay, because many other countries, they are not so lucky as we are. With the framework in laws related to the egg donation. So yes, and the topic today is the genetic carrier screening in egg donation, and all the group we support this type of tool or test because we think that genetic disorders cannot be cured, but they can be prevented, and that is the future, to prevent the diseases. Okay. For me, this is a good introduction. And Caroline, if you want to go ahead for questions, for me, is fine. I think that is the best way to improve our knowledge, make us questions and try to find suitable answers. Okay. So feel free to
Perfect.
start.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you so much for your introduction. And yes, we will start with the most common questions on our topic. But after that, remember, we will have a Q&A session. So any questions you have, all you need to do is just type those in the chat section so that Dr. Gemma can simply help you out with them. So don't miss your chance. And let's start with the very first question, which is, what is the carrier screening test?
Good. So this test is an important genetic test when you're planning to have a family. Okay. It will help you to determine the risk of having a child with a genetic disease. This test will let you know if the parents carry a mutation in the same gene and they are at risk of having an affected child. Okay, and this is prevention, as we said before. Um, Generally, parents only realize they are carriers of serious genetic disorders after an affected child is born, and the global prevalence of this disorder is 10 in 1,000 live births. So it's important to get this knowledge. Anyone, even me, without knowing, can be a carrier of one or more mutations. And in our knowledge and the studies we have been done, average carrier burden is 2.3 per person. Okay. Also, in our study that was published in 2015, when we started doing this test, we found that 5% of the couples they will be found as a carrier of the same condition. So they will be at risk of having an affected child. Okay. So just introducing these few numbers to let you know the importance of that issue. Okay. We can move to the second question if you want, Caroline.
Excellent, of course. Thank you so much for explaining that. And so the next question is, who is the carrier screening test for?
Oh, yes. As I said before, we'll have changes in our genes, okay? So the test can be recommended in all these cases, okay? One, if you are thinking about to get pregnant by natural means, but of course, this is not even considered by human beings nowadays, okay? It's so strange, that situation. In second place, this test can be done before assisted reproduction treatment to determine the best type of treatment you should, as your doctor, be recommended. And the third position, but no the less important, is before treatment with donor sperm or egg. In this case, you ask your doctor to do this test because you want to be able to select a donor that doesn't carry the same mutation as the member of the couple who will provide the gamete, the egg or the sperm. This third indication is the most common indication in our day-to-day practice in our clinic. In my experience, 60% of my patients, when they are recipients for egg donation, they choose to do the carrier screening test before to find a donor. Right? So that will be my answer, and you can go to the next one, Caroline.
Yes. Excellent. Thank you so much again for answering this question. Next question is, so I am a healthy person. In my family, there is no history of genetic diseases. Can I be a carrier of genetic mutations?
Definitely, yes. And that's an important question because when I'm talking to my patients about that option, they always ask me, by Chema, I'm healthy, and in my family, there isn't any past adverse situation. And I said, yes, but the carriers are always healthy people and asymptomatic. So they aren't aware of this condition until this test is done, or if they have an affected child in a past pregnancy. So, and moreover, the carriers, they don't have family history. So it's not valid to determine whether or not the person is a carrier of mutation that can be transferred to the offspring by just keeping in mind the family history. Okay. Being a carrier is not the same as getting the disease, okay? And that should be clear, okay? Because it's the first point to move forward. Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you once again for explaining
You're
this.
welcome.
And here's the next one. But these diseases are rare, so is it necessary to perform a carrier screening test?
Yeah, it's right. They are rare, but so relatively rare. Every year, 8 million of children are born with a severe single genetic disorder that has been published in 2014. And in a general sense, it is estimated that genetic conditions have a global prevalence of around 1 in 100, okay, or 10 in 1,000. It doesn't matter. And the prevalence of carriers for some of these diseases is quite common in some populations. For example, 25 people are carriers for cystic fibrosis. 25 people in 100. And 50 for spinal muscular atrophy, okay, to let you know some examples of single genetic disorders.
Excellent. Again, thank you so much for this. Next question is, so will my children be carriers of recessive genetic mutations?
uh, yes, the answer is yes. When two people carry a mutation in the same gene, they have a 50% chance that their children will be carriers of a genetic mutation. 25% of them will be no carriers, and a 25% will be born sick. Moreover, when there is a parent that is a carrier of a genetic mutation and the other is not, the probability that their children will inherit the mutation of the carrier parent is 50%. And the change of not inheriting is also 50%. But the most important thing to take account is the first part of the explanation. So if both members of the couple have the same mutation in the same gene, they have the chance to get a baby with a genetic disorder of 25% chance, which is quite high.
Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent. Again, thank you for explaining how exactly that works. Next question is also here. My partner performed a genetic compatibility test in a laboratory, and the egg donor has done a carrier screening test in another laboratory. Is the first test that my partner did still valid for use?
Yeah, this is quite common question because more and more patients they find different kind of screening genetic tests in different labs, and when they come to your visit, that is one of the questions. Can I use the test I did on my past? And the answer is not a straight head because each carrier test uses its own technology, and the number of mutation genes and diseases that are included may vary between them. So therefore, the answer will depend on the test results and the test we have done in our donors. Okay, in our donors, we do the TCG from Epigenetics, and then if the test that the patient gave us and the gene is present in both tests, and the number of mutations in this test is similar, the genetic matching may still be an option. Okay. However, if the gene that is altered in the patient is not present in our own test, and all the percentage of mutation is so different, we will need other options, such as to sequence the whole genome, okay, with an expanded test. Okay, I think it's not easy to understand, but the message should be that we always try to do our best to make the most of the test that the patients can give to us. Okay.
All right. Again, thank you so much for explaining another question. Okay, next one is also here. So, is there any residual risk after having this test done?
Yeah, I would like to say no because it's a quite good technology. But yes, there is a residual risk. Okay, because in the market currently there is not a test to detect all existing mutation of each gene. Okay, that is not possible nowadays. And the sensitivity is around 1995. And also there are a situation that even you are not a carrier for a mutation in the test that you do in blood, maybe you have some disorders in the germline cells, okay? And of course, that you are a negative for mutation, it doesn't mean the embryo can have some de novo, okay, in the process of the embryo generation. So I'm so sorry to say that yes, there is a residual risk, but it's true that in any of the genetic severe disorders, the risk is reduced to 1 in 30,000. So we start in 1 in 1,000, and now we are in 1 in 30,000, which is much more better. Okay.
All right, excellent. Again, thank you so much for that. And that will be our last question when it comes to those most common ones. And then we will go for your questions. So you know what to do already. And the question is, so if I am a carrier, is it desirable for people in my family who are planning a pregnancy to conduct a carrier screening test?
This is also a quite common question when you give the result to your patient with uh, some disorders, because as I said, average is around 2-3 mutations in in each person, even me if I do the test. So if you're a carrier, your immediate relatives may also be carriers. Therefore, sharing these results is advisable to provide them the opportunity to seek genetic counseling. That is my point, okay? And I know that this is quite hard to ask patients to share these results with their relatives when they don't speak so much with their relatives about reproduction and treatments, but it will be a good advice to share that result, okay? And try to help their relatives to know more about planning their own families as well.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much for explaining all those questions and answering, of course, all those questions. And now we will move on to your questions. So, Dr. Gemma, are you ready for the patient's questions?
Yeah, I would like
Okay,
to know them, all of them, but
excellent. There are plenty of those ready. But of course, if you have any left, you know what to do. Just type those in the chat section, and we will start with the very first one right here. So, my husband's mother has a genetic disease, but my husband doesn't have it, and it looks like not all his siblings have it. In that case, I guess the genetic screening is needed since we would like to use his sperm for egg donation. Thank you for your question.
yeah, it's Marie. Eh? Yeah, if your husband, um, if your husband mother has a genetic disease and all his siblings have it, this is this is not a recessive disease. Probably this is a dominant genetic disease, but it's quite severe, even more that we are talking about today. So definitely, your husband and you need a counselor, which is a genetic counselor that will know everything about whose relatives have been affected, which of them has not been affected, and they will give to you the diagnosis of dominant genetic disease or the need of a carrier genetic test for recessive mutations. Okay. And yes, I consider it's quite important to do this counseling before you go through the egg donation. Okay, as we said at the beginning, it's more important to prevent, and even more important when you cannot cure a severe genetic disease. Okay.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much for your help with this question as well. All right, next question is also ready. And so, okay, let me just show you the answer from the patient. Thank you so much. Very clear answer. Thank you.
Thank you. You're great.
All right, and let's have a look. So, can you repeat the carrier percentage in the general population and the risk that both in the couple share the same mutation?
Yeah, we published that in 2000 for in 2015 in the fertility and sterility, and we analyzed 138 couples, and in that case we found a 5% of bad luck. When I say bad luck, is that you share with your couple the same mutation, so you are in the situation of having a child with severe genetic disorder of 25% chances. So 5%, which is, well, at least it's more than I expected.
All right, excellent. Thank you again for clarification to this question. Okay, next question is also ready, so let's have a look. Is genetic testing standard in your egg donation program? Would it be beneficial to test my partner's sperm as well? Are these included in the price packages or are they extra?
Okay, so is genetic testing a standard in your egg donation program? Yes, we really believe in that tool. Okay, and even in the legal framework, you at least you should inform your patients about the level of technology that you have to avoid these genetic disorders. So yes, the answer is definitely yes. Will it be beneficial to take my partner's sperm as well? Yes, because then you will control and you will know if the donor that has been selected for your physical traits, as is said by law, you will know if this donor and your partner, your sperm, your husband, will share the same mutation, and if you are in this 5% of the luck. So yes, for me, it's always worth it. Of course, the genetic screening test, the TCG for genomics that we do, is done in all of our donors. So we exclude, for example, donors with the X fragile, that is supposed 0.8 of our donors. So even we do a prior good job, okay, selecting the best donor for you. I think is useful. Your part, you read the diagnose if you are in this 5% of sharing the same mutation, okay. And as is included in the price, no, there will be an extra, but it will be quite clear. Explain it in the cost, okay.
All right, excellent. Thank you once
You're
again
welcome.
for your
You're welcome.
question as well as your help with that. Okay, and now we have a bit of a longer question. Okay, so let's have a look. Both my husband and our potential egg donor are carriers of certain genetic disease in the 301 panel at Invitae, 288 general panel plus 13 add-ons genes, but neither have the same ones, thankfully. My question is, what is your opinion on getting a potential surrogate tested so she doesn't have any of the same carrier conditions as my husband and the donor and does not accidentally turn on the genes of these carriers conditions in any baby she will carry for us through epigenetics?
Oh my God, I need to read
Yes,
it again.
of
Okay,
course.
so I'm going
Take your
to
time.
read it, Caroline.
Yes, lots
Okay,
of details as well. So go ahead, of course.
thank you. Okay, okay. So I suppose that Angela is worried because the number of diseases included in that panel are 301. And for example, in this test that we use, Egenomics TCG, we include 545 genes. So maybe I think the question is if I will go through the a panel with more mutations included. So well, I can tell you that the most common ones are included in all the panels. So maybe I think it's enough what you are doing this effort. Okay, I think that you are controlling more than the general population is doing, even more than spontaneous pregnancies are doing. So I will say, don't get stressed. You have done a lot. And about epigenetics, I would say epigenetics are quite important, but I would say always can be positive, thinking about the effect that you are going to um, produce in the embryo from the beginning. We did a very nice research with the Dr. Vilella at the very beginning of his research, where it was shown that the mother, so you, know the donor, you are going to send RNA in small vesicles that will interact with the embryo in the very early stages in the implantation, and you will get some epigenetic effects on that embryo, okay, taking care of the general health. So as healthier you are, better for your embryo from the beginning, okay, talking about general health. So I will say it's enough, Angela. Don't get stressed.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much for that. And there is a follow up, okay? So if you could take a look from Angela. Should I test the surrogate? I will not be carrying the baby.
No, the surrogate is not going to is not going to give to the baby any gene, but yes, it's true that it will have some effect in the epigenetics with these exosomes and the RNA that can be affect the gene expression. But this is under research, and it's so much for you to worry about that nowadays. Okay.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much for your follow up and, of course, your help with this as well. Okay, and for now, it seems like it's the last question. So I just want to remind everyone that if you have any questions left, you just need to type those in the chat section. And let's have a look at the question. So, in order to prevent from mutations de novo in the process, is it possible to do a PGTA in Spain in a double donation, for example? Is it legal?
Okay. So in that question, we should go through the first question. To prevent mutations from novel, you cannot do any test to prevent that, because always that you try to diagnose mutations in embryo, you should have a map before, okay? So you should know what you're looking for, okay? Is it possible to do the PGTA? That is different because we are talking about to control the number of chromosomes in the embryo, okay? In Spain, we can do PGTA in women over 38 or repeated miscarriages or implantation failures. In a double donation, we will have to do it with an indication. It means that if we have a double donation with miscarriages or implantation failure, we can do it. If not, we cannot do it because there isn't any indication to apply a selection for chromosomes.
All right, excellent. Thank you once again for your question and as well as your assistance with that. Okay, I do not see any question, at least not yet. So let me just encourage you, if you have any questions left, then of course this will be like a final call for the questions. If not, we will be slowly finishing. But someone is typing, okay, Dr. Gemma. So we will need to wait a minute to see whether it's another question or not. So let's give it a minute.
I can see Stacy that she didn't ask anything. Poor
Okay,
Stacy.
exactly. So
What I
if
can
you
see
have any,
here,
yeah, then just not be, don't miss out your opportunity to find out a bit more, and of course, I'm sure Dr. Gemma will be happy to answer them for you. But in the meantime, while we are waiting for the question, I just want to remind everyone that, of course, if you would like to get in touch with Dr. Gemma and her team and get some more one-on-one, I would even say possibly some more details, you can always use the link I have just sent it to you, and that way there is an option for you to ask a question and it will be forwarded directly to the team. And of course, I'm sure they will be happy to get back to you with some more details indeed. Okay, it seems that we do have another question, so let's get to this right now. How can we make sure that the egg donor is not carrying any genetic disease? I know the test for that, but is it 100% reliable? And thank you for your question.
thank you, Marie. It's your second question, isn't it? So thank you so much for being so proactive. Um, okay, you cannot make sure the egg donor is not carrying any genetic disease if you are talking about the 5,000 genetic mutations we can have as a human being. Okay, What you will have is a test. In our case, as I said, we study 545 genes for 600 genetic diseases. Okay, ones of them are quite common, as we said, cystic fibrosis. The carrier prevalence is 1 in 25. Other are less common. Okay, so strange. So I think that the answer will be you will never will have the 100% security of having a baby without any disorder, any genetic disorder, but at least you will control for the most common ones. Okay. And of course, as I was explaining in my first, I think the third question, yes, there is a residual risk if you consider the de novo mutations and nobody can control for that, or mosaicism, and what is to have different genetic status in the sperm or in the egg, even in the blood, you have some diagnosis. So, yes, okay, there are some improvements in all these kind of genetic tools, but at least we have some sense that they are working so good in a very good number of disorders. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you so much once again for answering this question. And of course, in the meantime, we did receive another question. So let's get to this one. Is it possible to find out about any mitochondrial diseases with PGT? I asked this before, but it wasn't really clear to me at that time, since English is not my mother tongue. My son is suffering from Leigh syndrome, and I am planning to have another child. I am the carrier, and it was the novel mutation in my son's case. We only found out when he was 18 months, even though he had already when he was an embryo.
Um, I'm so sorry, Anne. I exactly that is the situation that we want to prevent. Okay, when we are talking about these genetic tools. Okay, to answer to you. Okay, how we are working with the mitochondrial diseases nowadays. In Spain, it's not allowed yet, but for example, in UK they do. Okay, the mitochondrial diseases are in the egg. Okay, in the egg. So what we can do is to take a donor egg and do a transnuclear transference, which means that step by step. Okay, you have your genes in the nucleus of your egg. Okay, and these genes in your nucleus is giving to you, is giving to your kid all the physical traits and all your genes. But we don't want the genes you have in your mitochondria. So what the labs that they are allowed to do it because of the legal framework, what they do is to take care of your nucleus and transfer this nucleus to the egg of a donor without her nucleus. Okay, so you keep your genes, most of your genes, the only genes you're losing are your mitochondrial genes, and you will never have the genes from the donor. Okay, you will have your genes, your own genes. Okay, and this is allowed for this. This is transferal nucleus. This is allowed to do in your case. Okay, for your second child. So my recommendation is you should talk to a counselor. They will, and a biologist devoted to reproductive medicine. Okay, so you will understand exactly how is the heritage of the mitochondria, and they will explain to you how it works, this transfer, this nucleus transfer into two different eggs. Okay, so you will need an egg donor, but in a different way that we are used to. Okay, I hope you will understand better that time. And if not, let me know, or you can write to me an email.
Of course. Thank you so much. And actually, let me show you the follow up. Okay, I heard about this that scenario with the nucleus. Thank you, but this procedure is far too expensive for me.
I know, I know, but even I think on we are closer to a systematic treatment all around the world. Okay, there are very good job done by 3 groups in Europe. So I hope quite close will be in a day-to-day clinical practice, and then the practice will be less expensive. Oh, that is my hope. Okay,
Yes,
we keep in
exactly.
touch, and we keep in touch.
Exactly. We are definitely hoping that it's just like you said. Thank you so much for your advice on this as well. Yeah, thank you so much, and of course, Anne, for sharing and also for your question. Indeed. And there are more questions coming up, so let's have a look at the next one. So, regarding the 5% residual potential carryover, and even if I test my surrogate and the epigenetics where the RNA of the gestational carrier can have the potential to influence what genetic traits the baby already has in their DNA and how it is expressed, is this something else to worry about?
Thank you, Angela. I know that you are worried about epigenetics, and I understand that. Okay, it's quite research line. It's quite a challenge research line. Okay, epigenetics. I will say in our studies, what we studied was how the uh, RNA from the mother can affect the adherence of the embryo into the implantation. Okay, so imagine that we are quite far away of knowing in which conditions this RNA can affect to the embryo. Okay, we consider that this is going to be related to the general health. For example, if the surrogate has metabolic syndrome, which is to have some disorders in hypertension, diabetes, whatever, this can be RNA transmitted epigenetic disease. Okay, so I will say, don't get stressed about that. Don't worry about that if the surrogate mother is quite healthy one. Okay, and I suppose this is under control because everyone or every party wants the best. Okay, so this is my opinion, Angela.
Okay, excellent. Once more, thank you so much for your help with this question as well. Okay, excellent. And next question is also from Angela. They do spindle. Oh, this is just the information. Yeah, so spindle and nuclear transfer at IV Meds in Kiev, and not too expensive there. Okay, thank you so much, Angela, for sharing this information as well to with our patients as well. Okay, and next question is here as well. Let's have a look. So, if the donor had the testing and the sperm has been tested, sorry, would you recommend testing the embryo as well?
Okay, so Natalie, let's focus in the two issues that are in your question. If the donor is testing for gene mutations, so um, let's try for a different concept. We have chromosomes, okay? We have in our cells 46 chromosomes, couples. Put together in couples, okay? Right. So we are saying that the donor has been testing for any mutation in the gene, so in very small pieces of the chromosome, okay? And the sperm has been also tested for the same test, looking for the same gene mutations, okay? The same test, looking for the same mutation in the same genes. So, would you recommend to test the embryo looking for gene mutations? I mean, for monogenic genetic disorders. So the answer is no. But if you are asking me to test the embryo for the number of chromosomes, what is called the PGTA, so then it could be. Okay, it depends on the concentration of the sperm, uh, because a severe male factor, when you have less than 5 million, then my thesis was about how that is going to increase the number of disorders in chromosomes, okay, in the number of chromosomes, okay, in a nucleoid. So I will say no testing the embryo for genetic disorders in mutation. It could be good to test it for chromosomes.
So thank you so much. Just a follow up, yeah. So if everything was fine with the egg and sperm, would you test the embryos?
I think I already answered because
Yeah.
it is,
Yes, sure.
yeah, I
Sorry.
think,
This is just the
yeah, I
follow up.
think
I
that,
just wanted to you to
yes, I
detail it.
think. If not, Natalie, let us know, okay?
Of course, exactly. But thank you so much once more. Yeah, okay. There is a thank you from Natalie as well, right here. So perfect. Thank you so much. I am just checking if there are any questions. So I do not see them here. So we will be slowly finishing. However, if you have anything left, just go ahead and type those in. If not, we will be finishing for today. But already I would like to thank all of you for joining us, for your questions. I do believe it was quite helpful for you. And Dr. Gemma, also thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure to have you with us, and thank you for supporting our Stronger Together initiative. And is there anything else you would like to add?
Uh, I would like to thank all of you because I know it's a difficult subject, and I really appreciate you to be there and asking very interesting questions. I would like to be in contact with you whenever you need. Okay, so I think it's also important to be there whenever you have more questions. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And actually, in the meantime, we did receive one question for you.
Okay.
Does Dr. Gemma consult as a doctor in the EV clinic?
Yes, I'm gynecologist and I'm the medical director in EV clinic in Barcelona. So yes,
Excellent.
Marie, thanks
Okay.
so much.
Excellent. Well, another question actually. How soon can I start treatment?
Theodora, Theodora, make me the question a little bit longer, please.
Yes, we definitely need more details, but of course, as if you would like to share some more details, go ahead and type it in now. If not, remember, as I mentioned, you can use the link I have sent to you, but I can do it once again, and there is an option to ask your question, and then I am sure Dr. Gemma and her team will be happy to help you out with more details, and I'm sure it will be possible to get a consultation as well. So if you would like to, just go ahead and send your request. And well, as you can see, there are more thank yous coming. Your okay, Theodore has added. She would like to start with IVF ICSI, but I guess still we would need more details. Okay.
Okay, Theodora. So I really offer my email to check all the tests you have done up to today, and I
Mhm.
will give my best advice to you. I promise. I promise,
Excellent. So
Theodora.
Theodora, if you can just simply send some more details, I'm sure Dr. Gemma and her team will be happy to help you out with more details. They definitely will require more information. Okay, just let me have a look. I had it last year. It was successful. Unfortunately, I lost the baby at 44 weeks. I am really sorry to hear this, Theodora.
Yeah. It's difficult always to choose whatever to say to you, Theodora, because that is one of the worst situations. Okay, even harder than when you don't get a pregnancy. So I'm so sorry. I will be there beside you. Okay, by email.
Excellent. Of
I
course,
will. I will
as I've
be.
mentioned, if you would like to just simply get some more details, because of course I'm sure Dr. Gemma needs some more background in order to advise you properly. Just use the link I have sent, and I'm sure she will be happy to assist you. And let me just have a look. Someone is typing, so again, I want to wait and make sure whether we have just. Okay. Yeah, thank you from Theodora right here as well. And you can use the link, okay? Okay, or perhaps I'm not sure if you can, if you have any email addresses that can be provided, Dr. Gemma.
Yes, I can provide my email.
Hmm.
Should I type it here?
Yes, you can do it in the chat section, of course.
Okay, I will do it. Um,
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. So, everyone, you can see the email. I will show this right here. Just again, let me just show you. So, you can use this email, and of course, Dr. Jama will be happy to help you out, I am sure. So, just don't forget to provide some more details on your cases, and I'm sure they will be happy to help you with them all. And there are more thank yous coming your way. So, I want you to see them. So perfect. Thank you so much. And it's nice to be called by our name. Thank you, Mary, for that. It's good to know.
yeah,
Definitely.
I also like that. Okay, I don't like people calling me by my surname.
Exactly. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for your answers. I thank you so much, Dr. Gemma. Thank you ever so much. And from Natalie, you got this. Thank you
Oh,
so
thank
much.
you so much.
Exactly. It's been a pleasure to be here with you today, with all of you. And Dr. Zerma, thank you so much. And let me just remind everyone that, of course, this has been recorded, therefore you will have a chance to watch this again. And of course, all those videos will be uploaded on our website, myivfanswers.com. You can use this link, but also remember that if you follow us on our YouTube channel, that way you will be updated when the new video is uploaded. And of course, all of our events you can find also on our Facebook page or Instagram. That way you'll be up to date with all of the events. As you know, there are more to come. And don't forget, we are having another event on surrogacy in the US today at 8 p.m. UK time. So I hope you can join us as well. There will be another there will be two guests today, so I hope you can join us as well. And again, thank you so much, Dr. Gemma, for tonight. Have a lovely and relaxing Monday evening. Hope to be able to do it once more. Thank you, and have a lovely, as I mentioned, have a lovely evening, everyone, as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.